Good morning, everyone. My name is İlkay Altıntaş, founding director of the Societal Computing and Innovation Lab and chief data science officer at the San Diego Supercomputer Center at UC San Diego, where the Wildfire Science and Technology Commons is currently housed. Thank you for all your interest and engagement with the Wildfire Commons team over the last 9 months, and including this webinar, which seems to have reached capacity, so we are not able to accept registrations anymore. According to our registration, when I checked last night, we have almost equal cross-sector representation from academia, government, industry, and nonprofit organizations. And today we are proud to unveil the site's initial functionality and invite you to explore what's now possible. You're here because you're part of the wildland fire community, and you understand the complexity of the wildfire challenge. But alongside the wildfire problem, we face a wildfire solutions problem. The right tools and insights too often fail to reach the people who need them when they need them the most. The best available science for understanding, modeling, and mitigating wildfire risk has not yet been distilled into tools for the front lines. If we want to make real progress, we must do more than innovate. We must integrate. To truly address the wildfire crisis, we must focus on findability, transparency, open access, and usability, bridging research and practice to support timely action, collaboration, and trust. Over the past decade, my team has had the privilege of working with the fire management community to develop fire tech powered by advances in data and science. We have seen firsthand how difficult it is to translate cutting-edge research into tools that are truly actionable, interpretable, and trusted within the decision makers' workflows. Despite many advances, we see significant barriers to this growing community's work. We are constrained by fragmented access to data and models, by a lack of shared standards and practices, and by persistent barriers to evaluating and adopting new technologies. These gaps slow progress and widen the divide between research and impact. Luckily, fire tech is emerging as a critical industry to meet the growing challenges of wildland fire. But without a platform that continuously integrates research and practical expertise like the Wildfire Commons, tomorrow's technologies will fall short of fully leveraging our nation's investments in fire science and innovation, and the hard-earned knowledge of practitioners on the ground. That's why we set out to build the Wildfire Commons, a shared platform co-created by our community to overcome these obstacles and enable a more connected, collaborative, and solutions-oriented fire tech ecosystem. The Wildfire Commons brings the same kind of integrated innovation and enabling platform you'd find inside a high-performing private sector AI company, but adapted for the public good. Its science-to-practice infrastructure is purpose-built to close innovation gaps and not widen them. We have designed the Wildfire Science and Technology Commons as a national-scale initiative to facilitate collaboration around building new technological innovations for wildland fire. Our hope is that a decade from now, we'll look back knowing that as a community, we planned, integrated, and advanced data and science-driven approaches that made cutting-edge fire tech truly accessible, interpretable, and actionable. People often ask how this effort differs from others or connects to others. The short answer is that the Wildfire Commons isn't here to replace the incredible work that's already underway. It's here to help connect it. It's not designed to be an operational platform for wildfire intelligence, like the Wildfire Intelligence Center proposed in the Fix Our Forest Act, but rather it's designed to make it easier for innovators to find and share expertise, projects, data, computing resources, and tools as we build new solutions together. The Wildfire Science and Technology Commons brings together three powerful components to address the challenges of collaboration, and continuous integration and innovation. The Expert Network tool helps users share their expertise, discover collaborators, and build interdisciplinary connections. The FireForge platform provides seamless access to data, models, and services, allowing users to interconnect them into scalable compute workflows. And the almost here community marketplace is a future-facing hub for partners to showcase their innovations and share step-by-step guidelines for how to use and apply their tools and technologies. By unifying fragmented wildfire data, enabling AI-ready workflows, and bridging the gap between innovation and field application, the Commons hopes to accelerate scale-driven, science-driven, and community-informed wildfire solutions. The Commons is a work in progress, as you know, and its design and capabilities are informed by this community, which is all of you. The features we are unveiling today are just a starting point, and there are 5 ways for the Wildfire Commons members, again, that's you, to participate in the development of the Commons in the short term. Our 4 working groups meet monthly and are composed of community members working to shape the Wildfire Commons. The first working group is the Opportunity Assessment Working Group, focused on identification of priority areas and current innovation gaps for fire tech applications. The second working group is Standards, focused on standardization of metadata and vocabularies for seamless discovery and integration of data, models, and services. Third is Community Marketplace, focused on defining a new innovation framework for community-oriented and community-contributed, ready-to-use and well-documented tools and building blocks for scientific and operational workflows. And finally, Scale and Sustain is focused on ramping up use of the Wildfire Commons to contribute to closing innovation gaps. Another way to participate is through Pathfinders. Pathfinders are projects, initiatives, or organizations that contribute to the development and adoption of innovative solutions in wildland fire science and management. This is where we strive to multiply the impact of existing efforts and showcase problems for our community to work on through the Commons. Case study communities are where we are conducting research with our community collaborators and experts to ensure the Commons serves their work. Our first case study community includes researchers and practitioners working on 4D fuels, fire, and smoke modeling for prescribed fire applications. We are now bringing together a second case study community to understand the technological foundations of digital twins for wildland fire decision workflows. We look forward to hearing your nominations for future case studies and working with you on these. Data challenges offer opportunities to bring together to solve problems to hackathon-style activities. Our first data challenge, Fire Ready Forest, was held a few months ago and was a machine learning challenge to predict 3 species from terrestrial LiDAR scans. When you log into the Commons today and tomorrow, you can see the winning solution in the Commons. In October, we will host our second data challenge, Shrubwise. This will be another machine learning data challenge to characterize heterogeneous surface fuels with multimodal sensing and other data. We look forward to having you participate in our data challenges and to your recommendations on data challenges you would like to host. And lastly, we have our community forum. This is a moderated discussion forum for Wildfire Commons members to share ideas, feedback, or ask questions. Starting today, we are looking forward to seeing you use and grow the Wildfire Commons. You can create a profile to share your expertise with the community, list a Pathfinder project to showcase how you will use the Wildfire Commons, begin using the FireForge platform as an active workspace with integrated workflows, participate in a case study, and create data challenges around your area of focus. Your journey to start using the Wildfire Commons will begin with the Expert Network tool. The Expert Network tool is your gateway to access all the benefits of the platform and using the FireForge. Your Expert Network profile lets you share your expertise with the community, discover other community members, and make new connections. And if you're here, you're an expert. We believe everyone in the Commons community brings valuable expertise, whether you're identifying a critical problem, developing data and models, advancing fire management practices, conducting research, or building technology. Your insights help shape the solutions we create together. So participating in the community comes with a bit of responsibility. We ask that all Wildfire Commons members uphold our principles of community, fostering positive collaboration, supporting common vocabularies, standards, and practices, sustaining open data and open science, and honoring data sovereignty and ethical conduct in all aspects of our work together. To set up your expert profile, you will click on Login, Register, then register using your institutional account by searching for your university or institution. If you don't find it there, we have some other options, including using a Google account or ORCID. If you haven't done this before, this can be a bit difficult the first time around. If you have any trouble with this, you can visit our upcoming office hours or email us at info@wildfirecommons.org. Please don't rush to create your profile now. During the webinar, we will provide you with the relevant links to get started at the end of this webinar. Once you're logged in, you can fill out your expert profile to better connect with the community and share your expertise. Upload your photo and tell us a bit about yourself on your profile. We would love to see what expertise you have by selecting from the expertise list or adding new expertise tags. You can also indicate which phases of wildland fire are your primary focus. And once you save your profile, you can search for experts, filter by expertise tags, or search with keywords. Now that you have an expert profile, you can start using FireForge. Today, we'll share the experiences of the FireForge platform with an example from our team. You will be able to begin using all the core features of the FireForge tomorrow on August 1st. We will also have daily office hours to work with you one-on-one on how to use the FireForge for your wildland fire challenges. Discovering data, models, tools, or solution opportunities related to wildland fire remains a fragmented process, especially when it comes to enabling collaboration and exploration. The FireForge platform is your one-stop shop to integrate all these steps into repeatable and scalable workflows. In FireForge, you can now curate and create catalogs of data, models, and services. Use workspaces to find and integrate data, models, and scripts into pipelines that are executable on scalable computing resources and clouds. Launch and coordinate projects in collab studios where teams can work together in real time. These features make it easier to explore what's available and prototype new solutions and move faster from ideas to implementation in cloud-ready environments. To do this, we are using the Resource Federation and composable service integration capabilities of the National Science Foundation-funded National Data Platform that the Wildfire Science and Technology Commons is built on top of. Commonly, we see workflow experiences that look like this: Googling and bookmarking resources, jotting down notes from meetings, asking colleagues to explain their work and receiving random files in return, and attending webinars, conferences that later become broken links. When we finally face a problem to solve, we scramble to pull all these scattered insights together. Files lose context, bookmarks pile up, and it's easy to forget why we saved something in the first place. We are often left trying to self-manage a chaotic mix of materials, piecing them together into a script, or working from a shared Git repo, often struggling to extract the data and prepare it for actual analysis. Only after that heavy lift, we can finally run our analysis and get an outcome. It's a laborious process that drains our energy. It isn't scalable and is difficult to share or reuse with colleagues. The result? Innovation often stalls and collaboration suffers. If this sounds familiar, you're in the right place. We too had similar challenges, so we decided to do something about it by creating FireForge for everyone. To address these challenges, FireForge offers an organized step-by-step user experience that brings everything you're working on into one place. It's designed to simplify your workflow and eliminate the burden of managing disconnected tools and resources on your own. FireForge is a user-friendly platform that enables you to find things in the catalog and contribute your own, collect your data, models, and services into a catalog and workspace, create a project in the Collab Studio to share with your team, execute your workflow using available compute resources, and store the exported data. You can then add these products back into the Commons catalog or make them private to you. Here's a view of the FireForge platform interface, where we see a space to create workspaces, curated catalogs, and collab studios for projects, which we can then use to integrate data, models, and scripts into a workflow and execute the workflow using the computing environment best suited to your needs. For example, the Kubernetes-based NSF-funded National Research Platform for data parallel or AI workloads, or other available on-prem or cloud resources. To share an example of how you can utilize the FireForge, we will demonstrate a collaborative workflow for terrestrial LiDAR processing and visualization by Dr. Letitia Lee from our team. The objective of this workflow is to process terrestrial LiDAR scans to create metrics using the USGS IntelliMon codebase and to add our own code to the pipeline to create immersive visualizations of the scans to use in our points-to-panel web app. How would we do this with our collaborators in FireForge? Letitia would start by creating a workspace and add data from the catalog as well as our own LiDAR data. We add processing scripts from our USGS collaborators to create metrics and our own visualization code created by our colleague Isaac to our workspace. We share the workspace through a Collab Studio project and add group members so they can work together. We then launch the workspace to available compute. Because this is a research example, we will have access to the National Research Platform compute available to researchers and educators in this case study. Let's watch this example in action. Dr. Lee needs to prepare her data. She's going to access the FireForge platform, explore the community catalog, and create a curated catalog for her terrestrial LiDAR processing to load all the data for analysis. Then she will add the data to the curated catalog she just created. Next, she's going to create a workspace and a collaborative project. The workspace is her way to build a workflow around the data she has collected and include the processing scripts for her analysis. Then she will build a project as she wants to share this workflow with her collaborators. And here in that project, she will include the workspace, making it accessible to her team. Now Letitia will establish her compute. she can see her workspace and can launch a Jupyter notebook. She will select the resources she needs for her compute and see the new Jupyter Lab interface she can work in. Now, Letitia has everything in place to process her data and build an image of the terrestrial LiDAR scan for visualization. With her notebook launched, she selects her workspace and script repo to clone into the notebook. We see that the data and script have been added. There's personal and shared storage that she can use for intermediate data products. And in the terminal, she runs our processing commands and see the results of our processed image. Once Letitia has production-ready data to share, she can do so using a solution like Pelican. Pelican is another National Science Foundation-funded research infrastructure for storing and caching scientific data. Letitia can use her Pelican credentials and upload her newly generated images into Pelican, where the images are accessible for future use. She can then create a URL to the outputs that can be accessed publicly or shared with a private group. This data product can be made findable in the Wildfire Commons by registering it in the community catalog. So how can you start using the FireForge platform? We will fully enable all our community to use the FireForge on August 1st. We invite you to join us for office hours for personal sessions with our team to walk through integrating your data and projects into FireForge. You can also sign up for office hours using the QR code, and we will share the link in Zoom chat too. What we have shared today is the initial release of the Expert Network tool and the FireForge platform. We look forward to seeing you using them and supporting your work in this platform to releasing future iterations based on your feedback. Later this year, we will also unveil the community marketplace. The marketplace is scheduled to launch in December. So starting December 2025, in the marketplace, partner-shared innovations will be browsable with step-by-step guidance directly from providers on how to access each resource. Marketplace listings will include descriptions from product owners on the featured solutions, as well as expert support to get you started. Between now and then, we will work with our partners across the community to prepare for including their innovations in the marketplace. Stay tuned for more details on how to get involved there. So a quick look at the last 9 months on what happened since we announced Wildfire Commons in October 2025. We came a long way with your engagement and support, from launching our working groups, pathfinders, case study workshops, and our initial platform features we released today. And we have a lot to look forward to in the last quarter of our first year. We have some additional milestones that we are looking forward to in the coming months. The first is our Shrub-wise Data Challenge in October, followed by our working group reports later that month. In November, we will bring colleagues together for our case study workshop on digital twins. And then in December, we will host a showcase of progress across Pathfinder projects. We hope you will engage with these opportunities and would love to hear from you on additional ideas for activities to put on the calendar in 2026. Our Shrub-wise Data Challenge will launch October 1st. We look forward to broad participation and hope you will advertise for us in your communities. Our last Data Challenge brought together dozens of students for hands-on problem solving. You can click on Explore to see the sprints from that Data Challenge, including the onboarding module, which is actually a great way to orient yourself to the features of FireForge because it walks you through selecting a workspace, cloning a repo, installing requirements folder, and adding all the files that you need to get started. Stay tuned for upcoming information on October Data Challenge. We will be releasing working group reports in October to share the insights and recommendations gained from their monthly discussions to prepare our work in 2026. Our working group members have been hard at work to shape the current state of the Wildfire Commons and help us plan for the future scale and growth. We are greatly appreciative of all their thought leadership and contributions. If you're interested in joining a working group, fill out the nomination link on our team page. In May, we had our first case study convening, and we are excited to host a second workshop in November on digital twins. Our first case study community, as I mentioned before, is focused on 4D fuels, fire, and smoke modeling for prescribed fire. We held a workshop in May to convene this group and learned important lessons on their technical needs when they were using the platform in alpha form. Our next study will be on digital twins for wildland fire in November. Pathfinders are projects, initiatives, or organizations that seek to leverage the Wildfire Commons in their work. We will showcase how Pathfinders use the Commons alongside the launch of the marketplace in December. Anyone can list a Pathfinder, so please contribute your efforts here. A couple of initial Pathfinders added by users include our Burn Pro 3D, which is a web-based platform to help the fire management community understand risks and trade-offs when planning and conducting prescribed burns. We hope to adopt new methodologies for surface fuel modeling from our upcoming data challenge. SITFuse detects smoke and fire utilizing multi-sensor data and self-supervised machine learning. It also allows users to segment the detections in a single and multi-sensor scenes with minimal human intervention. The team will use the FireForge to explore and collaborate with other efforts to improve their machine learning framework and outputs facilitating smoke flume and fire front tracking. Marin County is exploring a fire-resilient road-based interactive map designed to show the heat flux cars will be exposed to during evacuations. They will use the Wildfire Commons catalog to find and share data for this effort. So how do you know if one of your activities is considered a Pathfinder? A good project to highlight might be if you and your collaborators want to share data and models to multiply their impact or receive feedback. Seek to build a community around your tools and want to achieve broad awareness and adoption. Or you have identified a challenge within the wildland fire space and are starting to design a solution to the problem. We would love to have any wildland fire focused projects meeting one or more of these goals included as a Pathfinder. By listing your project as a Pathfinder, you enable other community members to learn about your project and find collaborators to accelerate time to solution. Thank you for joining us today to hear about all the current capabilities of the Wildfire Commons and our plans for the future. In a moment, I will transition to Q&A, but before I do, I would like to thank our partners who have made it all possible. From our working groups to those partners extending the platform with extensions for compute and shareable results. I would be remiss if I didn't mention my small but mighty team who worked very hard to ensure the success of the Wildfire Commons. Our whole team is excited to work with you in the coming months to continue to develop the capabilities that this community needs and wants. We will follow up after this webinar with a recap of the many ways to be involved. And with that, we would like to thank you for your time, and we'll take some questions. Claire will be moderating our questions, so we'll look for the Q&A.
If you have any questions, we have Q&A set up. If you would like to pop a question that you have, we're happy to answer. Maytel asked a question regarding what is the best way for cyber infrastructure professionals to engage?
Great question. We actually have a community of cyber infrastructure professionals similarly engaged. So the platform, as you know, is built on the national data platform, which is a composable cyber infrastructure. That means we can compose and federate compute resources. We can compose and federate services, and we can compose and federate full stack solutions. And if you have any ideas there to join, and also both on the technological foundations of the platform or also in the solutions that you're working on collectively, we would love to see you either join through a Pathfinder or directly email the team to see if you can be a direct contributor to the platform itself to provide compute resources, services, and other AIs and models that you're working on.
Thank you. We have a question next from Teal. The first challenge was geared towards student researchers. Is the next one more broad?
It is broad. And, the first one was student researchers because we also wanted to see if this will really work and try it in a smaller context here. Even then, we had dozens of students self-onboard to the platform without advertisement. So we think this will now, it's ready for broad testing. And this definitely going to be open to cross-sector individuals who are interested in joining and trying.
We have a question from MJ. I see that Milliman is a partner. Does that include Nancy for the WUI Data Commons?
Absolutely. Nancy and team in the WUI Data Commons has been participating as partners since almost the beginning, after the first. We have very complementary goals here, right? With any data commons, actually, those data commons can come in through the platform and complement the commons they're creating. All these different commons, for instance, the WUI Data Commons is something only that community can do. And they would define the rules around data, its governance, services to access the data. So we hope that Commons will be a platform. Actually, we can emphasize these commons like the WUI Data Commons happening or other data hubs happening and bring a collective integrating tissue. So for instance, not everyone has to do the Flutter. Flutter could be something that could be accessible through one part of the platform, through some set of catalogs federated into the platform. And as these more specialized commons with different governance and role-based access requirements come through, they could be integrated into the platform to be integrated with open data. So we have that model built into the sort of a platform here.
Great. And we have a question from Sky. What is the relationship distinction between this commons and the Wildfire Task Force Data Hub efforts?
It's actually the same answer to the earlier one, right? We are hoping we can multiply the impact of all these different data hubs and commons efforts and provide some linkages through either explorations across these. So we bring some interoperability and transparency on who is using the data and how they are bringing together this distinct but very important data sets. And Commons also can take some of the hub data as it's standardized individually into the catalog and provide maybe usage of the well-curated data through the task force data hub efforts together with other data sets and different solutions. So we are hoping it's gonna add to the value by multiplying the impact of these different data resources.
James
The
has
Commons.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Claire, actually.
And James has asked about, will the Commons have a presence at AGU this year?
We would love to. Last year, we presented the Commons in one of the sessions, and we are going to present in a few of the sessions. And we are also, today, the abstract deadline was extended today. So we are submitting today another abstract to be at the AGU.
Great. And then Amelia has a question around, are researchers the main audience for this tool? I am working on a data tool for government and emergency response post-wildfire and wonder how and if this tool could be integrated. Thanks for the great presentation.
Thank you. No, we have purposefully built this for cross-sector audience. So there are multiple ways. For instance, if you're working on a government emergency response tool, it could be through a pathfinder to find the innovators that could help you actually build it and bring it up. Or if you're building it yourself, it could be to find data and explore data sets as you're bringing to your tools. So from that we also have the model of full platform development, right? We can definitely think through sort of this shell-based approach on a part of the commons being used with the cloud-compatible backend for these different solutions. And we are hoping through this, the use-inspired problem that you're solving or others are solving, Amelia, would be the main thing you're worrying about with a sort of thinking of who works in this area or how that science or data that you need to build into the platform could be discovered and used. So please engage with the Commons if you're building a tool for government and emergency response as well.
Great. Matthew has asked, can we access airborne LiDAR data such as open topography, holdings, 3 depth, and within the FireForge?
Yes, the answer to that is all yes. As we are actually releasing the catalog tomorrow, we are bringing together, or we are including some additional functionality to, or in the catalog, open topography data sets, all of the catalog there, and 3 depth. I'm saying this carefully because how the community will use it and how these data sets actually will be engaged with OpenTopo and others is something that we'd like to learn from you, right? We are already in collaboration with OpenTopo, for instance, to provide examples. So they're not yet built into the platform, but you'll be able to directly access data from OpenTopo in a way they can track the usage of the data through their examples, also in using best practices to use that data from the commons. So it goes to say, not just for OpenTopo or 3dep or LiDAR data, if you're a data provider and you would like to actually showcase the best practices to use your data in the context of integrated workflows, we can showcase that in the platform and enable others to explore the data to the capacity you'd like them to be explored. That functionality already exists in the platform.
And we have a question around the feature set. So apart from providing computational resources, does your platform also offer access to data sets or integration of data sets from different platforms?
Yes, the platform has different modalities to access data. One is accessing where the data is, right? That would be discovering data that wouldn't otherwise be sort of visible for discovery. So this could be even private data that is not directly accessible, but in the marketplace, what we'd like to achieve over the next couple of months is make data that's private also discoverable with points of contacts to access the data and create those data engagements. But I think a more valuable mode of the Commons functionality will be, we have actually data endpoints as a concept. So if you have data and you want to provide limited functionality over that data, you can actually, instead of directly giving access to the data, you can provide access to a set of services to work with the data in that limited engagement mode. And you could be the owner of your data deployment and the service deployment on top of the standardized NDP stack in a way that you can actually authorize and authenticate individuals yourself. And through the catalog, these are discoverable. So when folks want to use your data, they actually use it through a set of services rather than direct access to the data.
Great. So a few more questions. Landon asked, apart from providing, we already answered that one. So we'll move on to Charlotte, who is also a representative from Marin Wildfire. Marin has a lot of projects that can submit a Pathfinder, but it's difficult for us to decide what would be interesting for this group and what is not. Do you moderate, review the Pathfinder's submission, and should we broadly include as much as we can to see what gets picked up? We don't necessarily have problem statements for each project.
Um,
And maybe this is one I can
Yes.
also help with.
Yeah,
So Charlotte, we do have an intake process for our Pathfinders. So we encourage you to think about the application within this community where you're looking for collaboration and also how you would like to use Wildfire Commons to help support your projects. When you submit a Pathfinder project request, our team will do a review just to see if there's any additional information that we have questions around or clarification. And then once it's approved, it will be added to the live view that everyone else can see to help enable future collaborations for your efforts.
and this is definitely a process that we'd like to collect feedback on. What would be the best way to actually present these Pathfinders so that it's useful both to the person providing it or the organization providing it or the others engaging in it.
Absolutely. James has a question around wildland fire managers within the Wildfire Commons, wondering if there is a role specifically for that audience. If so, please describe what tools or processes are geared towards fire managers.
Yes, hi James. Good to see you. There is definitely a role for wildland fire managers. It comes in multiple ways, right? The most obvious one, at least to me, is you can actually find data and tools that are up and coming related to what you're doing. And help in the future. We are also going to create sort of mechanisms to help evaluate up and coming technology together with community members. So in addition to that, you can, through the Pathfinders, we have a direct capability to intake, the problems you might have that require solutions. Right? So if you engage with the community in, I need this specific problem and it's a gap in my toolkit, there's a way to bring it to others who are hoping to engage with the platform. So we actually prioritize what is a good problem to solve in the first place. Right? That's actually a big part of bridging the gap. And only, wildland fire managers can identify what the gap is in terms of involving technology and how they want to use that technology. So we really hope you will engage in the platform and work with the community in ways that make it useful to you. And of course, there are case studies and other things that could be proposed so that we can put a community around it as well. Just like our 40 fuels, fire, and smoke case study. Right? It came from our community as a need.
Thank you. And Peter has asked a question, in addition to researchers who also anticipate Wildfire Commons participation of user stakeholders such as fire agencies and local government. So just wanting to confirm the audience types that are expected to use the commons. Does it also include fire agencies and local government, which I think we've been covering a bit as well?
Yeah, but I should clarify this, right? We are not here to be an operational intelligence platform. We are here to enable them to have access to data and linkages between data sets and the community and tools that they can build on. So it could be a discovery platform for what exists. And in terms of fire agencies and local government, we can definitely engage on the catalogs that, can be built into the commons together with agencies. So you kind of sort of make it a part of the process of procuring and acquiring data. And we hope as a collective, not just us, but with our working group members, we'll be able to provide some guidelines on how a need and maybe a data source in an agency or local government can be integrated with others, and what kind of data sharing and licensing requirements are needed for it. So this is some of the future steps that we'd like to identify and understand and engage our community to find better ways to do that.
And MJ has asked a question regarding how the project is supported through funding. If we want to reshare that information, and also if we can elaborate on how long this initial funding has started.
Yeah, that's a great question. So currently, in our first year, we started with funding from National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST. This will run for 3 years. And in the meantime, we are also engaging with others who are interested in being scale and sustain partners. And over time, our hope is to reach that platform sustainability through everyone's engagement and involvement, both on the user facing platforms, but also this enabling compute and other resources that is required to run the commons. So right now we are in our 3-year pilot period, so to say, but based on the interest and engagement of the community, we hope we'll be able to extend it beyond that and turn this into a self-sustaining entity at the end of some years process.
Landon has asked a follow-up question. Are all your tools accessible outside the US? Asking from Canada. And thank you for the presentation. If we could share slides after, which we will.
Yeah, so the whole webinar will be shared. So it's going to be posted on our site, and everyone who joined will receive that link to the video. So right now, we thought of it as a national scale initiative, but accessible to researchers and other members from government, obviously from outside of the US. And we really think of the future of this as a global collaborative environment that improves collaboration, not just across innovators, but also across governing entities. And then I can maybe switch to the next question, Claire, if you read that, because I think it's very related.
Absolutely. What will be the overall governance structure for the commons?
Yeah, so that's another one that we started with an open model, because again, we are trying to understand the unknown unknowns, right? We know what we don't know in the governance structure. but there are also things that will come through our work with the community and also the work of our working groups. Our Scale and Sustain working group and Opportunity Assessment working group are discussing governance also in various forms. So we are really, governance will be one of the working groups actually for year 2 after we demonstrate the functionality of the commons, because we would love to engage the community to decide on an overall governance structure and a sustainability model for the commons going forward. And it's a big part of our goals for the pilot period.
We have a question as well. What is the best way to connect with some of the fire-related initiatives from FAO within the Commons?
So we are definitely still open. We have also engagement office hours that's listed on our site, but also we are reachable via email. And if there are fire-related initiatives to take it to sort of leave areas or to take it global, even when I see FAO, there are definitely, there's an interest on the community, not just us, but our partners, to discuss that and to build on it in a way that enable as many of collaboration as possible, because fire doesn't know boundaries. I don't think we should.
Absolutely. And Josh has asked, is there a way to collect or solicit physical demonstration sites that can be used to ground truth data or models? These could also be used for field events to demonstrate the community's work to stakeholders.
Absolutely. Actually, this endpoint model can be applied to physical demonstration sites in a way that connects to the commons. We actually have those demonstrations with other projects that we are involved in a way that will connect to the platform. But if there are demonstrations that you'd like to propose, that could be coming in the case of in the form of a Pathfinder as well. Please suggest, and we can discuss how we can make this happen. Again, the idea here isn't to be everything for everyone, but this type of, I have some demonstration at the site and I'd like to create a case study or a Pathfinder for it, is definitely the type of enablement we are hoping to establish.
Awesome. And maybe we will wrap up with 2 questions. We have the Wildfire Commons continues to grow. Do you see a space for non-professional community or citizen science on the platform?
So that's an interesting question, right? Where does the community start and end? So the answer to this is actually, we don't know. We see the opportunities ourselves because there's a lot of interest from a non-professional or somebody with a need, right? It could be a community member, a citizen scientist. But we also want to be cognizant of collaboratives at the community scale who do the work. So I think one of the methods to do that is to engage with community organizations who actually work with the community and figure out ways for them to be able to utilize. And only then I think we'll be able to see if this is a space for community or citizen scientists, or do they come through a more organized entity and provide a little bit more governance, as the word came up, over how we are managing the community. So this is actually a known unknown at the moment. That's how I put it. Are there any limitations to compute? Yes. There's always going to be limitations to compute, but the platform allows for you to bring your resources. So there will be definitely a part of the platform that works in this exploratory mode, or for researchers, we can connect to national computing platforms, as we mentioned. or international in some cases. And there's definitely a way to launch jobs on commercial clouds and provide your own credentials, and you can provide on-prem resources. But really, the sort of centralized platform is for exploration, not for running huge jobs at the moment, unless you're bringing that resource yourself. One of the paths here, of course, could be working with big tech to provide that resource and, participate and partner in the commons. So there's definitely a model for that if needed, but, managing that allocation of the huge compute and how that would happen, I think that's another known unknown at the moment.
Excellent. Well, I know we are close to our time and we've completed our questions. So welcome any other questions you have post-launch to be sent at info@wildfirecommons.org. And of course, joining us for the office hours that will be available in August daily. And I think with that, Ilkay, any closeout messages?
I just want to say a huge thank you for your interest and engagement. I know there's a number of people on the line who've been engaging from day one since we announced it in October. And those of you who are just coming here, welcome, and we hope to see you again.